Okay, we'll call the Mount Sterling March 8th, 2021 council meeting to order. Roll call.
David?
Here.
Melanie? Here. Craig?
Here.
Becky?
Here.
Jay? Here. Andy?
Here.
All is present.
Okay, if it's all right with everyone, I'd like to do the prayer tonight in honor of International Women's Day. Is that okay? All right, this is from Maya Angelou. Father, Mother, God, thank you for your presence during the hard and mean days, for then we have you to lean upon. Thank you for your presence during the bright and sunny days, for then we can share that which we have with those who have less. And thank you for your presence during the holy days, for then we are able to celebrate you and our families and our friends. For those who have no voice, we ask you to speak. For those who feel unworthy, we ask you to pour your love out in waterfalls of tenderness. For those who live in pain, we ask you to bathe them in the river of your healing. For those who are lonely, we ask you to keep them company. For those who are depressed, we ask you to shower upon them the light of hope. Dear Creator, you, the borderless sea of substance, we ask you to give all the world that which we need most, peace. Thank you. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the following minutes from a council meeting held on February 22nd, 2021, special council meeting held on February 24th, 2021, and a special council meeting held on February 26th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
That's Craig, then David.
Okay.
Roll call.
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
And I will pass this around when we do the rest of the reports, if that's okay.
Okay, that takes us to mayor's report. I have a few things. First of all, I wanted everybody to know about getting your vaccines. My husband got his second one Saturday. I got my first one on Saturday out at the Molly Karen farm. Tomorrow, March 9th, there will be still and over, and anybody that's has any kind of
Remember that
illnesses. Yeah. And this will be the Johnson & Johnson only, so there will be no second vaccines tomorrow. And Thursday, according to the governor, it drops to 50 and above, so that's good news. The sooner we get our people vaccinated, the sooner we can get back to some normalcy, and we're all excited for that. I just got to take this off right now. I just need to point out too, or I'd like to point out today on the governor's call, they did mention Sheriff Swaney and had a photograph of him getting his vaccine out at the Molly Karen farm on Saturday, so that was pretty cool. As I said earlier, today is International Women's Day, and it was founded and first celebrated annually on March 8th by the United Nations. The theme associated for International Women's Day 2021 is Choose to Challenge. Regarding the theme, the website states, "A challenged world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change." Today we should take a moment or two to thank all the strong women in our lives, from our past or our present, be it mother, sister, friend, or coworker, or women whom we never had the opportunity to meet, women from earlier times or different parts of the world who, through their desire to be heard and to be an integral part of the world in which they lived, forged ahead, often at great expense to themselves and their families, and in doing so blazed a path to equality and recognition for all of us today. Mount Sterling is very fortunate to have many strong female leaders. I'm proud to work alongside of these women. Courtney Bricker, Misty Vance, and Sue Tedrow dedicate their time to this village, as well as council members Becky Martin and Melanie Fritz. We have female deputies and detectives that service our village and put their life on the line daily protecting our residents. Kelly Sparks, Kelly Stark, and Laura Hagachi, who had her cruiser hit this past Saturday while she was providing traffic control at the vaccine clinic at Molly Caron. Our EMS medics who attend to accidents, fire during their time as part of the Mount Sterling Chamber, the Mark Center, the American Legion Auxiliary, Eastern, all branches of our military. The many amazing in countless hours of fundraising, baking, and community outreach. There are many female business owners and operators in Mount Sterling that though they are struggling with the restrictions from the COVID pandemic, they are still standing strong and resilient. These women, and many that I'm sure I've missed naming, bring their passions and strengths to this community without hesitation in efforts to make Mount Sterling a beautiful, thriving place to work and live, and today we honor them. Okay. So when you go home, think of a woman in your life that you're very proud to know. That takes us to President Pro Tem report. Mr. Petty.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
First off, I want to apologize to my colleagues and the community. Last week was not a fun week. I got really bad symptoms Sunday night, and of course, I didn't want to really attend any meetings until I got tested, which came back negative, thankfully. But my wife and I both got the flu, and of course, when you have 57 kids, you know, it's kind of hard to conduct a household. So, again, I will say this: my wife was a trooper. You know, she's naturally feeding a baby at the same time as I'm trying. You know, we're trying to do things. She is one tough woman. So I will say I'm so appreciative of her, what she's done, and she kept her sanity through that whole week. But we did have some meetings last week with our committees. I know we had a financial work session, looking at the possibilities of employments and things like that, and looking at our future, and just really having hard conversations, which I know it can't be easy, and I say that to our community, is this, you know, when we come to these meetings, they're not easy. It is frustrating, because we know what's needed, we know the things that we want to see accomplished, and it's government. You know, there's always a million red tape to go through at the same time, trying to navigate financially, navigating different things that could be beneficial, what could work, what may not work, and it really is, it's frustrating. And I unfortunately get to be a part of that meeting, but you know, it was a nice hour and a half of just kind of going back and forth and listening and kind of diving in. And so, I mean, I still implore my colleagues to keep diving in, to keep, you know, coming to these meetings as open-minded as possible, listening to what's going on. You know, at the same time, I mean, we all know what this village needs. We all have our ideas what this village needs, and I just implore, please don't give up. Don't put your heads down. Don't get so frustrated that we don't want to continue. It is easy to do that. Like I said, I know through random meetings and random times in the last, year plus now, there are times where it gets so frustrating, you do want to shut down. Don't do that yet. Don't do it yet. We're here for the community. If it's even by election or even by you sat here in an interview and chose to really fight for this town, that means a lot, and it means there's something in you. So please don't give up on that. I know we still have more meetings. I implore to keep having meetings, and again, to the community. We can't have one and done meetings. It doesn't work that way. I know we can sit here and literally have one day of meetings to be able to knock out things, but it doesn't work that way. And so, again, I implore our committees to keep working strong, to keep digging in. On our special meetings, work sessions, same thing. But I implore mainly to our community to please come to our committee meetings. Please give your opinion in our meetings, in public. I get it, Facebook is easier to go on, but show up, be a part of the solution. I think that's going to help us really strive. And we have some big plans this year, big events going on. I'm excited for this year's cleanup day with nuisance, and now tagging back in with the Nazarene Church. just things like that, that's a huge opportunity for our village. And so, I really didn't have anything crazy to say tonight, just kind of, like I said, just I commend my colleagues for still sticking it out, having the hard meetings, but remembering to enjoy this and why we're doing this. In the long run, give yourself a day or two after a meeting to defog, and kind of navigate through it, but come back stronger, come back ready to go again. And I'm excited for what's to come. The best is yet to come from Mount Sterling. We're right around that corner. I know we have things coming up. I know Jim, I can't think of his last name, auditor's office, is gonna be here next week. And so we're kind of anticipating things like that, and that's nothing to hide from the community or from the council members. He will be down next week, which we'll have to wait and see what he says. But again, keep working, keep showing him that, keep showing the state, obviously, since we're in this fiscal emergency, keep showing that we want to work, that we're not gonna stop working, and we're not gonna bow down to pressure. And what I mean by that is that we're not gonna give up because we make an answer we don't like. So, that's what I mean. Don't shut down because of the pressure. It will feel like we wanna give up. What's the point? The point is, it's them, it's the community. That's all I got. I'll quit rambling, but thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity, and I'm excited for this week to get going some more.
All right, thank you. Public comments? Okay, no executive session. That takes us to our department reports. We'll start with Sheriff's Department, Mr. Dill.
Okay, if you notice, you don't have a copy of the nature report in front of you. Our 911 coordinator this is vacation month, I guess, so he's on vacation. And hopefully next meeting I'll have it, and it'll be for the entire month instead of just the 2 weeks. But other than that, I have no report.
Anybody have any questions?
Feel better, Jack.
Yep.
Well, thanks to Jay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Law Director report, I did not get anything, did you?
No.
Okay. I would like to remind council that at any time, if you feel that you are going to be bringing up something that you need questioned or explanation from Mr. Smith, we can make sure that he's at the meeting. He does attend a lot of council meetings on Monday nights, but just wanted to throw that out there. Utilities clerk, Misty, as we talked, will be at the next meeting, but a couple things that I wanted to pass along. We are going to start opening up the window on Wednesdays. She will be here on Wednesdays for the public. Normal hours, which are, 8 to 4:30?
8 to 4.
8 to 4, okay. She did give me a compiled list of water meters that we're gonna start replacing, which is great. And she's just been working diligently on getting the funds in. The numbers today wouldn't make any sense because, the bills are not considered delinquent until the 15th. So she'll have all that information for everybody at the next meeting.
Can I add something to that too?
Yep.
Is that as we do open this up to the public, we will still be having the protocol for COVID. So there has to be social distancing. We ask you to wear a mask. It is posted, everything is posted still on the door, so that we just need to remind people that we're not bringing them in here, and as time, we're not gathering this either. So if there are quick questions, again, our phone lines are open, the mayor's is, mine is, and hers. So again, if there are people gathering, we will have to say, we cannot gather like that. So again, it is very, quick as we slowly transition back into normal life. So I just want to let everybody know that they need to have a mask on when they enter.
And on that note too, I do want to apologize for last week. We did have phone issues for about 3 days before we could get them rectified, and we did our best to get to everybody. And so I know there were a couple of angry phone calls on my line, but it wasn't intentional. We had to post it on our website and also on the mayor's page that we were working on it, and we finally got it fixed. So we do apologize for that. Zoning, Mr. Hale did not have a report. Do you want to just talk about anything? We really didn't have a meeting.
We
so-
did not have a meeting. We will be having a meeting coming up.
Great.
So, The 16th. Thank you very much.
Same with him, especially in light of the change in this contract. If there's a need for him to be at this meeting, he will make sure that he is at this meeting. Yeah, okay. That takes us to fiscal officer report.
Okay, so, again, you guys have your reports in front of you, which were distributed on Friday. And, these reports here are gonna be dated from February the 22nd, which was our last council meeting, until the 5th, which was last Friday. Again, I don't have any updates in regards to, anything that's new. As far as on the receipt listing, everything's coming in as it's supposed to. We did get on a receipt listing here, we did get a, the cable franchise fee, which is a quarterly, payment, so that was something that is normally not on there until 3 months. Appropriation status, everything's looking good as far as expenditures, but again, we are, the first quarter, so a lot of these reports are very low, all the standards are really low, so, I don't anticipate anything, quickly here on the, appropriation status. Compared to the budget and appropriated, everything looks good, nothing to talk about there. Summary by fund, cash summary by fund, again, everything looks great on there. Payment listing, nothing really stands out here, but there are a few annual charges here that you normally don't see. And that's for the Ohio Utilities Protection Service, which is the OOPS annual fees. Again, there's nothing much to report on that. Revenue status, it looks like the general fund, we are at 22%, which is above budget, so that's good. And your reader report. Sorry, I went through them quickly. I know you guys ask questions if you don't understand anything. Again, I am available for the public if there are any questions that they may have with the finances. They can always reach out to me. But again, I have no other issues. If you guys don't have any other questions.
Ohio checkbook, check out Ohio checkbook.
Yes, yeah, they're still uploading. There has been some changes in the management from what I'm understanding, because it was very difficult for me to get a hold of somebody, just making sure they received their file. So there has been changes. Our liaison that used to be down here, some of you may remember, I know David probably does and Becky does, Lauren.
Yeah.
I contacted her, emailed and everything, so there's just no existence at all, with our liaison. So I do have a phone number that I've reached out to again to make sure our file's in there. But like I said before, is the Ohio checkbook, everybody's uploading year-end stuff, so it may be some time before they get back to me, so.
So how often do we update it?
Yearly,
Yearly.
yep. So just make sure that, again, I am on top of that to make sure they upload it, because I can't do that myself, they have to do it. But
Will she be coming down then, Courtney, or?
no, I can't get a hold of her.
Okay, I just.
So I'm not sure, that's what I want to find out, is who our
Okay,
liaison
okay.
is. So we'll see. I've got some phone calls in other areas. Okay, with that said, I would just ask if I could have a motion for the appropriation status report, the revenue status report, the receipt listing report, payment listing report, comparison of budget and appropriated report, cash summary by fund report, and the reader report.
You have that motion.
Second.
Okay, so that was Andy first, Jay was second.
Roll call?
Melanie? Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And I'm gonna pass both of these minutes around, if that's okay, the signatures too.
Brenda,
And I'll have the bank rec, one more thing, I'll have the bank rec for the next meeting. Wasn't available by the bank, so, on Friday, I should say, because it was too early in the month.
all right. That takes us to committee reports. We'll start with finance. Andy?
I echo everything which has already been said, and we don't need to go through it again, other than to say that I appreciate everybody's involvement, the special sessions we had this past week, and we'll continue to have. We'll be scheduling them on, besides staffing, we'll be having them on infrastructure and capital improvements, which are obviously water towers, streets, that sort of stuff. We'll be talking about investments in Parks and Rec, public safety, putting a 5-year plan together. understanding what development looks like. And these all have legs in the finance because we have to almost always spend money in order to do whatever program is in each one. And I want to call attention to probably the next big discussion, which is the capital improvements and infrastructure program, only from the standpoint that we believe today, as we get through looking at our water tower, which is the older water tower here in town, not the one over near Cahan, that it is going to go get an inspection and cleaning. And we don't know what that's going to result in. It could be a recommendation to patch it, or it could be a recommendation to replace. And so we need to plan for those things and not pinball all over the place, have a path forward. And I appreciate everybody's involvement in trying to get things done this past week. We did make forward progress. It was a good working session. I felt like we had a good level setting discussion around the initial things that we wanted to get done, and we got at least part of them done. So I'm pleased with that, and we will continue to have a conversation about staffing going forward, including this Wednesday. We'll have another conversation about the existing staffing as it relates to just generally what the the management structure needs to be like here. So we'll keep on keeping on. Thank you very much.
Pleasant Township, Melanie?
So they have their meeting March 1st. Nothing unusual, nothing out of the ordinary. We've signed bills and stuff. They did just they got some new insurance, so they were going over some safety things with the guys. I did reach out to them. I told them about our community day on the 8th of May and asked them if they could assist us any way possible. And they said, well, what do you want us to do? And I was like, anything that you can. If you want to get some dumpsters for us, if you want to give us some manpower, if you want to drive some trucks around, we will take anything else that we get. So hopefully they,
And that goes for everybody.
right.
Yeah.
This is a very short, uneventful meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Squad, Jay?
Technically, nothing's to report. We do have a meeting this Wednesday at 8 PM where we've been having back in the conference room. I'll say this, like, I didn't happen to know it was going on until I was meeting a parent to drop off a sign-up form, but there was a unfortunate house fire here in town, and obviously it devastated the family, and they had like 5 pets, things like that. But it was kind of watching our teams work. I won't take too much time. I don't know if you're going to talk about it too. The fire department doing their thing. Even squad. Like being a board member of that squad, you kind of get to see the inside deals going on in the sense of, what makes that operate. But it I kind of went whenever I was able to meet with Christy Taylor, just kind of saw her stand back in the corner and just kind of watch the teamwork. They went above and beyond just being a squad. They were actually helping the firefighters pull off the hose. They were helping conducting, traffic to, just getting their hands dirty, and it was just so impressive to kind of see that. So I want to at least put on record here, that's if you do see a squad member, anybody from the EMT, just thank them for what they do. They do more than just getting you back of an ambulance to your stable, but they go above and beyond and making sure situations, like I said, helping the fire, getting the hoses off the truck and just jumping in. Now the Chiefs guy saw Kelly Sparks doing the same thing. She was literally on the back of a fire truck pulling out the hose because it got pretty rough, that fire. They had some explosions happen too, it was pretty intense. But other than that, there's nothing to report in the sense of any inside business with the squad, but just want to put on record that I'm impressed with what we have here in Sterling with our squad.
I will say too, to tag on to that, I did post on the mayor's page a couple of areas within the town that are collecting clothing, food, and dollars for that family. So you can find that information there. Fire, Craig.
Yeah, we had our meeting the 25th of February. The new tanker came back from their paint job, and as they looked at it, they found out it has to go back because it's not right.
Oh, my Lord.
They also need to put it in the shop. This isn't maintenance. It's just that they're going to tweak the transmission so they can drive a little faster than 60 on the freeway. Also, the chief advised that
the bridge over Deer Creek out on 62 will be closing March the 15th for 180 days for repair or replacement, I guess. We also, the chief all got the report back on the protection class report. It's how the fire department gets rated. And they're rated at 5, which is, if you look at the scale, 1's the best, 10's the worst, and it's a pyramid. There's only 338 fire departments in 1, and there's almost 10,000 in 5. And as it goes down, down, down that way. So we're a class 5, and that's how they go around and what rate your insurance will rate you. And they also hired a new volunteer, and our next meeting is March 25th.
Okay, thank you. Water, wastewater. Craig?
Yes, we had a meeting, and we was talking about the installment of meters, and we're waiting for the contractor to get back where we have that contract or bid we put in. It was going to remain the same, and then we also have to look at getting a list together where they're going to go. We also was talking about some changes in the ordinance that definitely probably need to be made.
Right, Misty and I, just to let you know, are working on that Wednesday. We're going to sit down together and go over that. So we should have a report on that next meeting.
And the auditor would like a 5-year plan on the water department. And that's all I have right now. And our next meeting will be first Wednesday in April.
Okay. Streets, Andy.
Had a great meeting this past week. I'm pleased to say that we have a number of aggregates and gravel on order, so we're going to do some repair on the streets and the alleys. So that's great. We're going to bite off what we can bite off, and then, of course, we have our contractor coming up. We believe at the end of this month, early next month, potentially into May, somewhere around in there, coming and doing our street patching for us. So that would be the really large pothole size that we can't patch ourselves. So I'm pleased to say we're making a little momentum here in spring. We're going to build on it and keep on going. So very productive meeting. Our next meeting will be same time, same place next month, first Wednesday of the month at 8 a.m.
Thank you. Parks and Rec, Melanie?
Our meeting was canceled, or rescheduled. We're gonna hold our meeting this coming Monday, 8 a.m. But I would like to ask for a motion. Becky and I have sold some candy bars. We got $900 we would like to donate to the Parks and Rec Fund. So I would like a motion to.
Accept the funds?
Yep.
You got that motion to accept the funds?
Can I just reiterate the motion?
Please do.
So it's gonna be $900 in cash that I'll be taking to the bank on behalf of council for the Parks and Rec to go into the revenues to be expended for Parks and Rec.
And it's encumbered only for Parks and Recs?
Yes,
Yep.
only Parks and Rec.
Mhm.
So I will be having a new certificate and stuff because it is additional revenue, so it will be expended, used for this year if they want to.
So,
Is there a second?
Okay, I'm sorry, who was the first?
Andy.
Okay, Andy? Okay.
Roll call?
Second was Jay?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do a voice vote this time. David?
Yes.
Or actually, hold on, I go out order. Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
yes.
David?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to make sure I was in my order.
Melanie, did you have anything else?
That is it.
Okay. Record of retention, Andy?
Have not held a meeting, but plan to as soon as we can get back together physically.
Okay. Nuisance and abatement, Becky?
Yep. We held our meeting March the 3rd, and we discussed a lot of things. Real quick, we have received back from our solicitor now. This is a new development. We didn't have it at the meeting, but we have received back like a letter that helps enforcement of violations. So it's kind of like you fill in the blank kind of letter. So we're excited about that, and we're working on right now sending out a few of the more obvious violators. So, and then Also, we were hoping to have building code update on our Dirty Dozen, and I know Marcy's going to be talking to Tom about all that. So as soon as I get that, I'll let you know. There are several buildings and things in town that are like really bad shape that, you know, are getting to the point of dangerous. So those are the ones that we're most worried about. Also, we did talk about our community cleanup day, which we are confirming, which will be May the 8th. And I was just telling the mayor, I think we're going to begin that about 9 a.m. and we haven't set a finish time. I guess it will depend on how many projects come in and how many houses come in and all that. So even if you're not on the nuisance abatement committee, I encourage all of council and any of your organizations you're affiliated with to try to drum up, you know, volunteers for that. It's going to be a great day, and we hope just to get everything looking nice. Also, we talked about our newsletter. Our newsletter is coming out. I hope to have to council the next meeting. I think that's the 22nd. I'm working with the mayor right now on a newsletter, and she's going to create it. I'm giving her a lot of the information, but I do want to tell council members if you or your committees have anything you would really like to see in a newsletter. It is a 3-month newsletter. So if there's something you want put in there, about an ordinance, about a project, about anything, get with me or the mayor and we'll see about getting it in there. But hopefully, again, that will be in print by the 22nd. So you have 2 weeks if you want to get anything in that. And then one of the other things we talked about, the subject came up about when there was all the snow and people weren't moving their cars. And the signs that are there. I think we talked about it last council meeting with Jack. Jack did come to the meeting and we talked about that a little more. And then his suggestion, because also the 2-hour parking situation came up, and he said basically the only way they could enforce it is to write like this ticket that would go to the county, and it's $180 violation ticket. Is not just a parking ticket. He suggested that we look into forming a parking violation bureau. Oh, there goes a board. I don't know if that was an omen about this.
Guys.
But that was my thought too. I'm like, oh no, something that costs more money. And he assured me that no, this wouldn't cost any money. All this would take is, and I wanted to put the feelers out to all of you, your opinions on it. All it would take is an ordinance, because Courtney would need a place, obviously a line to put it on if parking tickets were to come in. Obviously, we'd have to set a price and, you know, where it would go. Would it go into this window or that window? Would they be mail-in only straight to Courtney? But those are just some things to think about. And if we did form this, and the reason, you know, again, I'm concerned, a lot of people, downtown businesses is where I guess the main problem is, where we have the 2-hour signs. And I know we've had years and years and years of no enforcement of it, but you know, we want to keep our downtown businesses and give the customers places to park and shop. So I just want to put that out there to everybody, that that's something, and if you have any questions or anything, just contact me or come listen at our meeting, or yeah, just ask me and I'll tell you what I know. But again, it would have to be an ordinance that we would write. So
Would the sheriff be the one writing the ticket?
yes, well, that's what I said. I said, do we have to like hire a meter maid or what? He said, no, they would write the tickets. If we had an enforcement bureau, they would write the tickets and the money would come to the village. So it'd be different than if he would write a ticket now for parking. The price, the violation, everything is different. So just food for thought. I know if I got a parking ticket, I'd rather it be $40 than $180. But so that's just something that I wanted to put out there to get everybody thinking about, because I'm sure the next nuisance meeting, hopefully we'll have a recommendation to move it on to council. Okay? And our next meeting will be April the 7th. And,
First Wednesday at 2:30.
yep, and I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Safety Block Watch, Mr. Timmons.
We had a work session on February 24th and had good discussion. We had the pros and cons of maybe having a police department, which was good discussion, and it was interesting discussion. We had a gentleman come, he spoke in how he could do things, stuff, and he expressed his interest. It was interesting to listen to him, and so it was interesting. And also on safety, I want to bring this up. There's getting to be a lot of cars in town. We talked about this, Becky, at the nuisance meeting. These people putting their cars on blocks on sides of streets with children. A child could crawl under them and then blocks fall off. And Jack brought up, and they're going to start cracking down on this because there were several cars in town that way and for safety. And Jay brought up how lucky we are to have such a great fire department. And I want to bring this up in every household. Make sure that furnace is in working order. And this cold, now we're getting away from cold weather, but a furnace that's out of work can cause carbon monoxide so quickly. The 5 dogs in that house did not die of fire, they died of carbon monoxide. And so you want to be careful, and always make sure, if you have children, have a safety plan in place on how to escape. I know in our household, and Mary used to talk about mother. Our mother had drills we had to do, and you learned how to safety through her, and show them how to crawl, to get out. If you have an upstairs, have what they call an emergency ladder. You can get them at any hardware or a sporting goods store, and you hook them up to your window, and you can climb down. And we train to do all this, but I think it's always a good idea, safety first. And also, I want to bring up, and Craig here, my neighbor, I'm going to let him tell about it, but remember how I talk about calls? Well, Craig will tell you, he got one of them calls today and everything. And then our next meeting will be March 11th at 4 p.m. And Craig, you want to tell them about that? It's interesting.
The calls from, they say they're from Social Security, and your number is no good no more, and they need you to talk to them to verify things. So I took the advantage to talk to him today. So when the lady got on there, we discussed bullcrap that she was trying to sit and talk with me, and I told her, I said, I think this is a scam, so I just hung up on him.
You should have sent her over to the auto warranty
Yeah, I
department.
should have.
Remember what I always tell her about
Yeah,
it?
they said they were going to withhold your Social Security checks.
But what about
That's
my
what they
auto
were trying
warranty?
to, and I'm sure because your number was bad or something.
Yeah.
It was,
I always either slam the receiver in their ear or sing. My singing will help. One way or the other.
One,
they're gonna hang
yeah,
up.
one way or another.
But
yeah.
but we always been working. There's another one going out there on Amazon accounts. They'll say your Amazon account's behind, and we're going to have to charge you extra unless you can give us your credit card number immediately. And so I told them that all I had was phony money, and they hung up on me. So you just got to do what you got to do.
The one I saw was, I'd seen it before, and I don't know how many people are traveling right now, but they're saying that the people are finding out, like, when you check into a hotel, they'll call, somehow get the room number, like, they'll call in and say, I want room number 27 or whatever, and they'll ring up to room 27 if that's where you are, and then they'll say, we're having trouble with your card to charge your room. Can you please repeat your number back to us? And they said, if that happens to you, just say, I will be down with my card. And then,
Oh, that's scary.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, planning and zoning, Mr. Drake.
We've had a great couple sessions leading up to the meeting, which unfortunately we couldn't have last week. We're kind of in a little bit of a pause mode, but we've gotten a really, really good rolling start on zoning consistency, and this has been a lot of work that's happened over the course of the winter. And I think that residents, particularly in the newer part, we're actually going to have a quick update for them because of some stuff we need to do with zoning consistency, making sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Due to the work of the committee and Mr. Hale, we have been able to update the map. So the map, which is right behind Jay over there, is brand new, and you can take a look. It is still in draft state, but we're trying to get it wrapped up so that we now know kind of where everything is and what it's supposed to be and what it is today. And thanks to Tom's help, we were able to get that done actually free of charge. So that's a pretty expensive maneuver to do if we were to do it by ourselves, but we're able to leverage a membership and get that done. So making some progress, and we'll continue on over the course of the spring. So stay tuned definitely for more.
Your next meeting is next Tuesday, correct?
Or is it sooner than that?
The 16th.
16th? All right, thank you.
On the first and third.
First and third, thanks.
Tuesdays.
Is there, sorry.
Yeah.
Is there updates on the new bills? I know I have some residents kind of, because it looks like nothing's moved for a little while, so people just ask, and of course, I'm.
Yeah,
Probably
so.
let us know.
Yeah, so the short answer is we have not received anything since the last meeting, and I can't tell you that we've received any, for example, requests for building permits. So that has not occurred. We are looking today at where the street layouts are, and that was sort of in pending status the last time. We had a couple questions that were actually outstanding from the folks who were laying the streets out, and then sort of going along with that was water line layout. So all those have to be tapped and plugged in and all the usual good stuff that goes into making a brand new subdivision. So that's the only update that I have today, and we expect to have a better one, though. That is on the agenda almost every meeting, to be honest with you. We'll probably have that tuned up on 16.
That takes us to ordinances and resolutions. Ms. Brooker?
Okay, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an addendum to the 2020 services agreement with the Village of West Jefferson. This is on the third reading.
Is there any discussion? Okay, I'd like to have a motion for 2021-03.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, on the third reading.
On third,
that's Craig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Andy?
Roll call?
Becky?
Yes.
Jay? Yes. Andy?
Yes?
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Craig?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
A motion to cover that.
Oh, yeah, duh. Sorry, jumped ahead, didn't I? And now I need a motion for passage of 2021-03.
You had that motion.
David?
Second, anyone?
Second?
Jay?
Roll call.
Jay?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Melanie? Craig?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2021-03 has passed.
Now, thank you. All right, that takes us to roundtable. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to share?
Mayor used to bring up about famous women. You know, I'm a history buff. There was a woman at Fort Meigs in the War of 1812. All the men were afraid to go to the water well because they knew the British and Indians were in the woods. But this Betty Zane, her courage made all the frontiersmen look bad. She walked there and went to the well 3 times, knowing the Indians were in the woods. And one time she was fired upon, and one of the bullets went through her apron, and it got so embarrassing that Daniel Boone finally left the fort to get some water then. So you ladies had a lot of courage even back then. I just got to
Right.
say that.
That's right, thank you.
I have something. I just wanted to, I always like to look through the messenger. I wanted to congratulate, since it's Women's Day, especially, Madison Plains 5th and 6th grade basketball teams. They both went undefeated this year, so they got a really great youth league going. That's awesome. I'm sure exciting for Madison Plains, them coming up to middle school and high school ball. And, you know, a lot goes in. Sometimes we don't think about it, but a lot goes into those youth sports. Those coaches at that age are all volunteer, as they are for our youth league here for softball, baseball, and t-ball. I just want everyone to remember that. You know, this year it sounds like we have a lot of kids now, and but remember, all of us competitive parents like to yell a little bit, but remember everybody's a volunteer out there, and just thank those coaches for just giving service and time to the kids. And then the other thing I wanted to mention that the kids will be really excited about, the community center is going to have their Easter egg hunt this year. We didn't get to have it last year, so that is scheduled the day before Easter. So that's on April the 3rd at 10 o'clock. And if you're taking your kids or anyone, make sure the buzzer goes off at 10 and the eggs are gone at 10:02. So make sure you get there on time. That's not one of those things you can show up late. So it is all outside, I believe, this year. I mean, the majority of the hunting was outside, but before they had pictures and things indoors. I don't think they're going to do that, but I think they're also going to have some goodies, cookies and things that are all pre-packaged to give away there. So it's a really fun time, and we have a great community center here. So hopefully we can all show them our appreciation and go out there and cheer on the kids. Yeah, we're really excited about that. So that's all I have.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make a mention is, just that, the recent fire of one of our, residents and their family. And if you can help, please do. It's very unfortunate, and I've seen the posts on Facebook and just couldn't imagine what they're dealing with, especially when their lives were in there. So we just think of them in your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a total loss, so I can't even imagine. But, yeah, I think they're collecting meals, they're collecting clothing and personal hygiene items and things of that nature, and then donations with a GoFundMe. So there's a couple platforms that you could choose maybe to help. Anyone else?
Mayor, you brought up about the vaccinations. I had mine, and don't listen to all these stories about all these side effects and stuff. The only thing I had was a sore arm. If I had to pitch that day, I probably couldn't have pitched. And probably the coach wouldn't have cared either way, but that's all there is to it. And so get that vaccination when you get your chance.
Okay. So since it is International Women's Day, I would just have one more quote for you from Mother Teresa. Go out into the world today and love the people you meet. Let your presence light new light in the hearts of people. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, Jay.